Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, Train Man, and this is the Polar Express! Now, this isn't as big or as nice of a video as I would have liked, partly because of the damn Burke. Actually, mostly because of the damn Burke. Oh no, you know what? I've got to go do another FPS check on that, because... So, something I learned, and something you guys will understand, is Kavan's route, which is very nice looking, plus this Berkshire, which is very nice looking, plus recording equals like 10 FPS. So, I apologize for that in advance, but it's, I don't know, I hope it's survivable, at least for you guys. This starts out pretty well, and basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be touring Kavan's route as the sun sets. Naturally, I would have kept it at 5 minutes to midnight the whole time. That would have been a nice one, and then I would have just run, you know, without any meets or anything, but I was planning for 3 of them. The first one was too damn laggy, so I cut it out of the video. The second one missed, and the third one was on our track, so didn't really get the full bulk of in any of those. Every time I try to do a meet, just bad things happen, so... Anyways, this is the first station here. We're going to come to a stop at the station, pick up the passengers. We stopped twice, and then from then on we just keep on rolling through, because I was kind of upset with the fact that the game wasn't running as well. Either way. This is the K&L Trains Berkshire, like Nickel Plate Road Berkshire, using the Polar Express set that comes with it, which is a Berkshire tender labeled for Polar Express, as you can see, and then the coaches, which, you know, obviously we cannot replicate the movie's changing train length. But, you know, we, you know, and they can't, it's freeware, by the way. The engine is not. The tender and the coaches are, because they're branded for Polar Express, and that is trademarked, so you can't just take over that. Now, one of the problems I had with this route, now, just because it's Christmas Day, or Christmas Eve should be this coming out, but it's not going to be coming out on Christmas Eve because, well, it's just not going to happen. It's half an hour to Christmas Day now because I just got back from my party. If I hadn't run into some complications, I'm supposed to be doing it on Jader's route. This is what I was supposed to be doing it on a different route. But I can't do that. And the reason I can't do that is because Jader did not send me all the dependencies. And I have them now. Finally. Problem was, I didn't have them at that exact moment. I didn't have them when I needed them, so I had to default to Kavan's route, and that led to troubles for a number of reasons. Part of the fact is that the route is just too damn nice. Doesn't like me recording on it, and I made some changes, to the Berkshire especially, to facilitate... Oh yeah, you can look at the rear platform, that's nice. To facilitate using the stuff. Skip that. I'm installing this stuff now just so I can get, just so at some point I will be able to use Kavan's route, or sorry, Jader's route again. Now he has mostly G styles on this route. One of the problems arose when there are 2 different kinds of G styles and they don't really work well together. So there was the meat that I actually got to interact with, and that didn't work at all, but the meat that I actually got to interact with was problematic because the train did not recognize the red signal and went straight through it and almost crashed into me. That's the first of 2, like, accidents, in inverted commas, I had while working on this. So you notice right now that it's running pretty well. The problem is the smoke is so unbelievable. There's just too much of it. And that's one of the biggest problems with this engine. The smoke, plus the snow, plus the jointed rail content that we were about to run into, just led to a bad time, basically. Plus recording. Recording did a number on it, although I probably should have, or / could have shut down more programs to allow it, because I wasn't near, you know, max and anything. I wasn't maxing out my system. I was maxing out trains. I don't know, maybe the graphics capability of my system was being tested. Not quite sure. I have pretty much everything turned on to low anyways. And frankly, I'm not sure it looks, you know, it doesn't really look that different between this game or another game, or, you know, the different texture settings. Also, my render distance was too damn high. Wait, what the hell? Huh. Did it already do that? Alright, well, let's check on something. Let's check what's missing dependencies. These guys are. So anyways, we're coming up on the second station here now. I've got to throw in a couple of blends at these cuts. Like, I realize right now, you may see it if I remember to do it, but there's a good number of things where, oh my goodness. Anyways. We're coming up on the second station here. We're going to be stopping here to pick up some passengers, and then we're going to be continuing on down the line. Now, I don't know. The frame rate still seems to be holding up here. But it's like we get out of here and it just tanks and it doesn't get any better. I turn on the automatic fireman there so I have less to concentrate on. Which is nice when you're trying to film a video and just get the shots, because I kept either turning the HUD off or whatnot, and I come back and realize I left the injector on or something. So you see how it's coming out in those like vertical puffs? That's no good. I feel like that is a very big contributor, although there are plenty of other troubles. I redid a test, and it was like 15 frames versus 2. Although I can go back and run another test and see how well that works out, which I'm going to do right now, because the Davenport Southern has a long, long way to come with the amount of content that I have to work with right now. I need to tell Jader it isn't nearly all the assets. Alright, well there go all the frames. I'm not sure what's causing it, but it's just like the smoke is all clipping through the engine and stuff. And it lingers for a long time, which is another problem. I don't know, I've done this with the Burke before. And you see it clears up. Had to shut that firebox door because, well, we had I kept hearing the firebox noise. Isn't that a beautiful whistle? That's the upshot of this engine. It's a really nice engine. Wish it had a custom cap. It does not, though. Alright. I'm going to take care of some things on here while we pull out of the station. You may notice I'm not moving very fast. And the reason I'm not moving very fast is the Berkshire likes to slip. And so I just have to play with the controls. I turn on the sand, as you can see. And we just, you know, we have to drag ourselves out of the station. I didn't actually check if this was a gradient. I hear there's a different kind of HUD that you can get that'll help with that. But I'm not quite sure. I have no idea. So we're gonna drag ourselves past this signal. At this point, I was worried about making it to the passing siding before our meet did. And if I didn't get stuck here for so long, we might have actually had a chance to not slam into it and just run by it like nothing was happening. Although, you know, it locked the switch on us, first of all. And second of all, it just went through the signal and would have probably hit us anyways. So we've made it past this. We're going a couple miles per hour faster. No, it must be an upgrade from here, because the Berkshire does like to slip, and it has trouble starting a lot of the time. But it's not definitely not this bad. Like, it has a better time than this, more often than not. You know, it must have, when I did this in, just now, it must have been a lot of little things that caused the frame rate to be as low as it ends up being. It never gets any lower, it never gets any higher than maybe 10-ish after a certain point, and that point, I believe, is when we get past this train that we've got to pass up here. Yeah, Kavan's got some signaling to fix. He needs to standardize the signals on the whole route. Frankly, Kavan, what you need to do, you need to, and I know this is going to be a pain, because, trust me, I've done similar, but what you've got to do is you've really got to go through and just go over the route with a fine-tooth comb, you know, what you have thus far, and sort of be a little perfectionist. Don't add anything. Just fix what's already there, and then go back to adding. All right, we've caught now. We're on the move. We're going to be heading off towards our meet and our inevitable destination, which is the frozen northern wastes. So flash forward to here. We're grooving right along. I would include a couple of these nice shots of us going into the sunset, more or less. I was trying to keep on the speed limit, at least through this section. You know, I wonder how this Burke would do in the Iron Horseman Railroad. Alright. This force is all, you know, I was kind of, the date in the video is December 24th, naturally, and, 5 minutes to midnight. Can't be anything else, of course. So we've got all the dead trees. Oh, let's check on this. We've got, with whatever I'm doing, it's loading in. I've got, I'm staring at the CSX train from the Berkshire, and this is with a reduced smoke version that I have right now, and I'm doing this off camera, of course. Meanwhile, you can look at me run the full smoke Berkshire just fine. Staring at the CSX train, I'm getting, you know, when I'm moving around, I'm getting maybe 10 to 20 FPS, not dipping below 10, and up to 40 in places, depending on how much of the train I'm looking at once. So I come back here and I'm looking at the train and the Berkshire, and I'm getting about 30. So now I take this guy here, and I'm going to make the conditions a little bit worse. I take the environment, I'm going to change the weather to medium snow, which is what it was on. I'm going to make it evening time, so that we have some more dynamic lighting in effect. Alright, with that, we've already dropped to 10, actually. Is it because of what else I'm doing on the computer, then? Need more dedicated RAM, and I'm getting a lot of screen tearing out of this as well. The refresh rate is not there. Alright, there goes the coal train. It's passing us on this siding here. We're the ones that ducked over onto the siding. Maybe I shouldn't have weather effects. That's what I'm learning from this. Should not have weather effects. Alright, so 12. And then let me start moving. And then I'll do one worse. And I'm not sure if this is going to fool with the... See, I can handle 10. 10 was what we were doing just about with the rest of the route. And if this is as bad as it gets... Hey, look, there we are. I actually picked up the speed here a little bit just to see. Alright, and now I'm gonna shoot myself in the foot. Alright, well, I'm recording this. and I'm getting 14 frames per second. Everything else is in place except for the old Berkshire Smoke. So 15 FPS, 14 FPS, even nothing below 10. Pretty impressive. Alright, anyways, we're moving along here at a pretty decent clip. Once again, right now we're still obeying the speed limit, but I can't exactly tell. But my guess would be just barely. We're just barely obeying the speed limit. Because at this point I'm sort of miffed, and I'm saying, let's go, let's go, let's go. There's another station we're passing that by. If you notice, really nobody's there, but we've got that Virginian Truckee engine there. You know, in case we need any help getting to the North Pole, we can whip out the Virginian Truckee engine. He'll give us a hand. Anyways, alright, there goes the... See, the speed limit dropped to 20 there, and I got a little bit confused. And so, I was on Skype with Kevon at this point, and I said, hey, what's up with the speed limit here? And he goes, oh, it's supposed to be 35. So right about here is when I decided, you know what, F the speed limit, we're gonna go. And you'll see that when we come into the next section. We're heading into a town now, and I don't know the name of this town, but it's got some pretty interesting rail crossing road, you'll see. Alright, so frame rate's a little bit lost. We're coming blazing through town here, the smoke's all wonky. This is actually very good looking, this area. Especially in nighttime. You know, I feel like some of the stuff can look very good at nighttime. We've got safe trans as our signals, all of a sudden, for a very short period of time. And some crossing gates that don't go down in time. Although those guys did. Those guys did. So this guy, this guy's moving. We've got these crossing gates here. Obviously the speed limit here is a lot lower than it is, but I felt it very fitting of the Polar Express to just sort of go barreling down the road. Of course, in the movie, they sort of hang out on the sidewalks and whatnot. Oh, that guy's beating the train, look at him! Oh, lucky son of a gun, here I come. Polar Express, we're going to the other side of the tracks! I thought this was a very interesting setup here. So there go the cars, driving alongside a train on the road. And then we head off the road and down and away from town here. Don't know how tight that turn was, don't know what the speed limit was supposed to be, and I really don't much care. Across this road. You know, ATLS is impressive if only it went down faster. You know, if only it went down quicker. Although, to be fair, you set the triggers, so you should be guesstimating for the speed limit, and I'm not going the speed limit, so it doesn't matter. More safe trans on this section. Not sure why I did that. I do like the safe trans, though. Well, I mean, there isn't a style of signal that I don't like exclusively. I probably wouldn't use the safe trans out of... Maybe if I was making a modern route, I'd go with the safe trans over anything. Maybe the G styles, but probably the safe trans. G styles I'll reserve for every once in a while, just sort of in the corner of the world. And so here, this train, we're passing by this yard here. I didn't bother seating it, but smoke coming up through the bridge. Unfortunately, this is not Tane. But if you'll notice, we're moving pretty quickly now. We're out on the main line. We've met with our very great amounts of tracks. This is what Kevon's route excels in. If only the AI could excel in actually running it. That'd be nice. That'd be something to drag back from Tane, or a good reason that I will eventually go to Tane. Is because they've got these things they call interlocking towers, and they really help with the AI. Like, it prevents people from driving through one another. It prevents people from, prevents trains from driving into one another at junctions, too. It's pretty good. Pretty good with that. You notice the frame rate is not too great here, but honestly, you can almost get away with it. And by this point in the video, you're either used to it or you left. Trust me, it doesn't really get any better. I mean, hell, I'm used to it at this point. Oh, if I clicked off the window for a second there goes all the sound. Alright, it's back. Someday I will get the assets for Jader's route. I will get all of them. Now I just like to leave Content Manager open in the background to download stuff. I'm being haunted by the ghost of '06, which I'm going to talk about on the Terminus podcast, which is coming out this Saturday. Or, well, coming out this weekend. It's going to be your Christmas gift, guys. And you know what else is going to be your Christmas gift? Check the podcast. But I have something for you guys, most certainly. I'm still working on getting it all set up, but you guys will have access to something you've been asking for. I'm sure it's on most of your Christmas lists as far as things from me go. Along with a new episode of the Iron Horseman Chronicles coming out on Saturday, beginning Season 1B, which should be a total of 6 episodes, airing into almost into February. And then we'll be re-gearing up for the summer season. Now we've moved down onto the river line here. That's what Kavan calls it, at least. He's made different divisions based on different railroads. For example, this is more akin to the New York Central being along the river. You'll notice there's virtually no gradient here. The river stays where it is. Those gantries apparently don't work, so Kavan is placing his own signals. Now we're just sort of running out here. There aren't any more stations for us to head to. So what I do is I go for broke coming up shortly, and I just try to accelerate almost as fast as I can. End up getting up to about 94 miles an hour before I make the closing shot and finish the video. I do like the view out of the rear car. I wish the camera was set back a little bit more, though. Although I think certain things can let you lock the camera to the car, and you can walk around. I think there's a free interior cam mod thing, which allows you to walk around inside the cars. That's really cool. I think that's really, really cool. So we're coming through this. This junction here is really cool to me. The train appears. I was going to have there be a meet here, and I was actually tempted to go the other way, but I didn't throw the switch in time, so I ended up going along the river a little bit more. Well, I would have been going along the river only on the other side. Now, this is a nice long segment of film. It's all nice just running through the countryside here. You can appreciate how bad the bug is lagging up my computer. Either way, you know, that CSX meet was the most problematic thing here, and I got down to about 2.0 frames per second, which was less than fantastic. Less than fantastic. So I decided to just keep chugging along here. There's some weird things about where he merged routes and whatnot. Again, you need to go over this map with a fine-tooth comb, and I think that's what everyone is going to be doing. So, you know, you get to see everything that's troublesome with this route, and just pop open the route and make a fix. And the thing I want you guys to do is when you get your Christmas gift, feel free to tell me about things that you think need changing, that you've found that need fixing. There are a handful of things that are off about the map. I can't be perfect, and I didn't build the whole thing anyways. Jader's sections are pretty top-notch, though, I will say. The AI isn't bad either. And I think what's in the portals is actually saved with the map. That might be a problem. There might be some, He was hoping there's no payware in that. I don't think there will be. I don't think there would be. You can't bundle and send payware, can you, anyways? So I don't think there is. The route is just the route. So I'm moving along the line here. You know, this is a good looking area as well. The ground cover could be a little bit thicker on the riverside. Because, you know, that's obviously kind of cardboard. At least it seems like it to me. Anyways, you know, no matter what's going on... Oh, I changed the sky as well. That might be a good one. I like the sky. I like the sky on this one. It's sort of like, I mean, it almost makes it look sunnier than it is, because obviously it's nighttime. I do like doing this. It's kind of therapeutic to just run in trains. And Kavan's route is pretty much perfect for that. There's almost no place to go. However, there is plenty of place to run. You can run, but you can't hide, basically, is how this works. Keep clicking on the wrong thing to see what's going on. We got these double cross here. I think this is our last chance to actually get over to the proper track. I didn't realize somebody was coming at me. On the Iron Horseman route, one of the things I did, you guys probably saw me do it when I was working on it, is so that, or rather to facilitate, sorry, AI. To facilitate AI, I did very little bidirectional signaling, and I did junction interchanges, like crossovers, very frequently. And I did, that did in fact help quite a bit. It helps the AI because they get confused and they screw up. One of the things I'm going to do on the Iron Horseman route, or, you know, even on this route, because it's so massive. You guys do not get to see the full extent of this route, because I could have run for another 2 or 3 hours at this speed and not shown off, you know, not shown off half of it. Like, it's incredible. Once again, we cross some ATLS areas. This town with no buildings. God, those E-bells are shrill. It's just kind of ridiculous, the way that sounds. That's why I left that in. I probably would have cut it a little while ago, but it's like, man, they sound weird. This is obviously going to develop into a town. It's kind of like a freight run-through route. I think he's got an industry and a coal plant and a coal mine someplace where you can just shift stuff around. But he doesn't like the fact that you can't load up the whole coal train in one go, so it just turns into a running route. And then it isn't bad. As long as you have portals all over the place, so that you can just spawn trains and watch them run, or just run yourself. I think being able to run and having to deal with the other trains that are running is really kind of cool. That's what I was always trying to set up with the Geiger Mountains, if you remember that back in the day, because there's been a lot of activity on those old videos. Geiger Mountains was almost completely automated, and it had some troubles, because obviously it was a weird map. But it was really cool to have it running all like that, and I'd like to do that with the Iron Horseman route as well. I'm just not sure exactly how I would manage it. I think I'm just going to have a lot of run-through trains that are going different directions. I've gotten a lot more modern content, and I've gotten a lot more nicer transition era content. So you're going to be seeing a facelift in the Iron Horseman Chronicles with the way that the cars a lot of the time would look, because I got a lot of jointed rail. They have a lot of very nice freeware, and though, well, I can't speak highly of their payware because I think it's very expensive, I can definitely think highly of their freeware. It's still very nice no matter what. Now we're out on the frozen wastes. Now this is the closest thing I could get to frozen tundra to send the Polar Express across. But we're going 94 miles an hour, and I'm about to close out the episode here in a second. We're almost at the North Pole. That's latitude whatever the hell, the Arctic Circle. Train man out.